Welcome back, everybody, to Weather on the Go, where you get all your weather coverage. Good Wednesday morning out there, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great morning out there. In this video, we will be talking about a lake effect snowfall, some significant snowfall possible across portions of Lake Erie, getting up into the interior Northeast through the next few days, followed up by some very cold temperatures for this time of year across the eastern two-thirds of the United States. And we'll also be previewing your Thanksgiving week as well, with an interesting storm system that could be moving in as we get into late next week. Thank you guys so much for watching here like you do every single morning. If you guys are new to the channel, definitely hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates on this channel, as well as liking this video at the end of the video here by pressing that thumbs up button down below and leaving all your comments below as well. It definitely helps out here on this video. So looking here this morning, we got an upper level low pressure system here moving across the Great Lakes and the Northeast here, bringing some cloudiness, some flurries and some snow showers across the Wisconsin area, getting across the upper Great Lakes region with some renegade showers here and some chillier rains across portions of, along the Cape Cod area, getting along the I-95 corridor from Boston to New York City. Maybe some lingering showers there, but other than that here, the storm system is starting to wind down over the next couple of days. You do still see, however, winter weather advisories rather, and also winter storm warnings across portions of the Northeast. The winter storm warnings are up here in the pink across northern Maine, where the purples here, that is actually winter weather advisories, where we could still see some snowfall accumulation here of at least light to moderate accumulations through the next couple of days. You do see, however, off to the west, very much closer towards, the Buffalo area, Watertown, into western New York. Yeah, those are winter storm watches, and that is for lake effect snowfall and some significant lake effect snowfall at that, as we head into the next couple of days. So let's kind of break this down for you and kind of show you how lake effect snow works. So you see here the warmer waters here of the lake, say this is Lake Erie, for example. You have all of the warmth and the heat and moisture content from the lake, the waters of the lake, moving up into the atmosphere here, and actually that will form cloud cover. And as you see clouds form, it's going to get thick enough and dense enough to where you see actually moisture being transported from the cloud itself back down towards the surface, and it's going to be cold enough for snowfall, especially with the dynamic cooling you have with the lake effect snow. So that will be something we'll watch for the Buffalo, New York and the Watertown, New York area as we head through the next few days. And you definitely can see that here, at least here on the relative vorticity signature. You can see a little bit of some vorticity and some lift showing up across portions of Lake Erie up into the interior portions of New England into western New York, and that is indicative of some lake effect snowfall actually being produced by this system as it has all that lift swinging through here through the next couple of days and into the weekend. So let's kind of share you this model data with you with using the NAM model, the North American model here. You can see some snowfall on its way out, some heavier snowfall up into portions of northern Maine, maybe a mixed bag of some freezing rain and sleet and some chillier rains across southern and central Maine there. Not too worried about an ice threat here this go around, but looking at potentially some messier weather there into northern Maine with some heavier snowfall accumulations with those winter storm warnings. But as we move here into the day tomorrow, especially getting into the Thursday morning time frame, we'll start to see these lake effect snowfall bands start to set up across northwestern Pennsylvania and more so into western New York, closer to the Buffalo area and Watertown. That's with that warmer lake waters here forming clouds and then again precipitating that snowfall down to the surface. And some of these snowfall rates, especially as we get into the Friday time frame here, where these very heavy bands set up and train over the same areas here, especially near the Buffalo, New York area. Yeah, we could be talking about feet of snowfall potentially in some of these areas localized across, through the next couple of days. So that will be something to watch as we head into the weekend. But just looking at the next 48 hours, the next 2 days here across western New York and portions of northwestern Pennsylvania, you'll get your fair share of some significant snowfall here. Snowfall amounts ranging from 4 inches to 6 inches across northwestern portions of Pennsylvania, and then getting up toward the Buffalo, New York area and even the Watertown, New York area. Yeah, we could be talking about feet of snowfall before it's all said and done. But just in the next 48 hours, yeah, we could be talking about 6 to 10 inches of snow potentially near Buffalo, Buffalo, New York. So definitely some significant snowfall there as we head through the next couple of days. Looking at those road impacts with here, the travel out there looks limited to minor here at the worst across these areas, especially as you get up into portions of Maine and then up into eastern New York, Vermont, New Hampshire. Not too big of a deal all around. Looking here a little bit worse across the lakes here as we head towards the day 2 on your Thursday. Some more limited to maybe some moderate impacts across northwestern Pennsylvania, far western New York towards the Buffalo area. But it's really as we get into Friday, your November 19th in time frame here, that's really where we're going to start to see more in the way here of some, major and even extreme impacts as we have those very heavy snowfall rates here, potentially in excess of 2 inches per hour here. Would not be surprised with this. We got those very strong lapse rates here from where the surface temperatures are near the surface to above about, 5,000 feet. Very significant change in temperature, and that will be considering the lapse rate that could be significant enough here to produce some significant snowfall. So that will be something to watch. But regardless, what will affect a lot more people will be the cold air on the system's backside. We're still going to see likely below normal temperatures here, favoring all the way through the Thanksgiving time frame here itself, through that Thursday time frame on Thanksgiving. Below normal temperatures favored across the eastern 2/3 of the United States, and really near normal towards the central plains and back into the Intermountain West here. Maybe some slightly above normal temperatures working its way into the Pacific Northwest here towards the day on Thanksgiving itself for places like Seattle and Portland, Oregon. But other than that, you might have to go down into southern Florida toward Miami, Fort Myers, or maybe even Key West to get some warmer temperatures down there for this time of year. And it's really all responsible for this polar vortex. We've been talking about this and how polar vortex splits and disruptions and stratospheric warming events have been the signature for all these cooling events here across the fall and the winter months. And you can definitely see we have a polar vortex split, or kind of a polar vortex stretching event here, where we see the core of the cold air starting to stretch its way a little bit farther to the south into southeastern Canada, and that is pulling all of this cooler air on the system's backside a little bit farther to the south. And that is occurring here late this week, really centering itself across eastern Canada and the northeast of the United States as we head into this upcoming weekend. That's where we'll see this season's coldest temperatures perhaps across those areas, while in the west we do have a little bit of some ridging expected across especially California and the Intermountain West there, with some warmer temperatures than average here expected as we get a little bit closer there towards that holiday itself on Thanksgiving. And again, how the polar vortex works is you got the cold air and the low pressure here near the pole, and where you have the cold air, again, as it moves a little bit farther south toward the U.S., we have that little bit of that stretching event, and especially as you see the jet stream here dip across the southeastern United States, that will bring all that cooler air farther south, and that is again why we're seeing the cold air from Canada move into the U.S. as we head here through the next few days into this upcoming weekend. But don't be scared, guys, because yes, we do actually have some warming temperatures on the way. Believe it or not, we're still in a La Nina, and again, we're going to have these major temperature fluctuations here through the next couple of months. So, fasten your seatbelts, because again, we're going to be warming up in a big way again across the central and southern plains, much of the west, slightly to maybe much above average for this time of year as we get, towards that Thanksgiving time frame, and then spreading eastward toward the Mississippi Valley, the central southern plains, and Missouri Valley areas after the Thanksgiving holiday itself. We might have some lingering cold across the interior northeast, but that will be on its way out a little bit here as we get towards the very end of November. And you can see we got more of a Pacific flow from the Pacific Ocean, zonal flow here from west to east as we get towards that Thanksgiving time frame. That will start to push this colder air a little bit farther to the northeast. And again, the southern jet stream is going to be a little bit more active still during this period. So again, we're not seeing any super major snowstorms or storm systems as we get towards the Thanksgiving time frame, at least for the northern and northeastern United States. But as we get towards Thanksgiving itself, I'm keeping my eye on another warm-up continuing across the western United States, and then again, that warm-up we were just mentioning across the eastern and central states here of the United States. But in between, we're going to have a storm system potentially develop, and this has been consistent among some of the global forecast models, the GFS, the European, and at times the Canadian forecast model as well. And looking at the temperatures here ahead of this storm system will be warming back up into the 50s, maybe some 60s showing up across the deep south and portions of the southern plains across Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and farther to the east. You got those warmer 70s, perhaps some low 80s across Florida. And again, all that colder air will be bottled up here to the north into portions of Canada and the far northern plains. So we're going to have some warmer temperatures return. That will amplify a little bit further as we head towards Thanksgiving Day itself, with maybe some upper 50s to maybe low 60s starting to warm as far north as the Tennessee Valley and lower Ohio Valley as well, setting the stage for yet another major storm system potentially as we get into late next week. And you can see that here the European forecast model does strengthen this to potentially a 1005 millibar low pressure center right on east central Texas as we get towards that Thursday timeframe on Thanksgiving Day itself. And you can see rounding the storm system, we have a pretty impressive 500 millibar mid-level jet actually rounding the base of this trough as we get towards the middle and end of next week towards Thanksgiving. And again, we're going to see some warm air advection here off the western Gulf of Mexico, bringing up those warmer dew points, warmer temperatures, and we'll start to see some scattered showers, some rumbles of thunder as we get towards the middle of next week on your November 23rd timeframe during the afternoon. And then a lot more moisture transport from south to north across this area as we get towards that Thursday timeframe on Thanksgiving. Some heavier rain setting up across east central Texas from the Dallas-Fort Worth area farther south here towards Waco, Texas, the Houston area, Corpus Christi. We could be talking about some stronger thunderstorms potentially down there as well. And then it's really have to watch ahead of this, I think, here across East Texas, into Louisiana, southwestern Mississippi, and maybe as far north as southern Arkansas here as we get towards Thanksgiving Day itself. Again, there's a lot of time to refine this and tune into this here and kind of look at the details, but dew points rising into the 50s, perhaps some lower 60s does signal the potential for some interesting things to happen next week. If we get a low pressure system to develop across Texas and the southern plains and it moves far enough north to where we could see those dew points, transport out of the Gulf of Mexico into portions of Louisiana, southern Arkansas, and East Texas into the upper 50s and lower 60s, then yeah, we could have a squall line of some showers and storms moving through as we head through the afternoon on Thanksgiving with some heavier rain, some damaging winds, and perhaps some hail as well. So that will be something to watch as we get towards that time frame. But regardless, there is looking to be an actual signal for some heavier rainfall across portions of Texas, southeastern Oklahoma into the deep south here where they desperately need the rainfall, and there's ongoing drought. And definitely this model, the high resolution European forecast model, is pretty consistent here the last couple of days at advertising some heavier rainfall from the Dallas-Fort Worth area up toward the Red River here into southeastern Oklahoma, getting into western portions there of Louisiana towards Shreveport and perhaps even southwestern Arkansas. Widespread rainfall amounts potentially between about 2 and 4 inches with some locally higher amounts possible, especially into east central Texas as we get into late next week. And that will be some good news considering the newest drought monitor here from the November 8th timeframe still does show some widespread drought across much of the central and southern plains and a lot of the United States still in drought. And you can see in these areas that I just showed you with the heavier rainfall potential late next week, we could be seeing here, 2 to 4 plus inches and some areas that do need it. We have abnormally dry conditions across some of these areas where you have the oranges and even the reds. That is actually some moderate and severe, even extreme drought starting to, move a little bit more widespread into this area as we move closer in towards the end of November. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely appreciate it. As always, if you guys do want to like the video down below, definitely do so by giving it a thumbs up. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll get to those later on today. And again, guys, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We got lots of great weather content coming up. I got a winter weather update video coming up here later this week and this weekend you don't want to miss. So definitely subscribe down below and hit the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.